that there will be tons of questions, and I can already see a lot of it in the Q&A box. So we've got some questions that we have already answered. So, what is the required turnover for the business? So as we said, there is no minimum turnover. It is something that, we need to show the appropriateness of it. In our experience, we've represented clients with as little as 4.5 CR in terms of turnover, but we've been able to show that they have additional, funds available for expansion. The IELTS, generally you have to take the UKVI secure IELTS. So as long as it's a secure IELTS, the Home Office is only looking at an A1 level, so speaking and listening. So life skills is generally fine. If you have anything higher than that, then they'll be happy to kind of do that. So there's a difference on the IELTS which you take for, say, other migration options to the US or to Canada, whereas the one for UKVI is very, very specific, which is the secure IELTS for UKVI. Can the company be a new subsidiary company to apply for a Tier 2 sponsor license? Absolutely. I mean, it's not a problem. We regularly represent clients in the IT space who want to set up a subsidiary in the UK, then apply for a sponsor license, and then take their employees over. And we haven't had a problem, because of the age of the company, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, definitely a new subsidiary can apply for a Tier 2 sponsor license. So typically that kind of goes in. We have one question in terms of, how does it work for partners in a business who want to migrate using this route? So if there is more than one person who's going to be the applicant, then it may not be possible for both of them to be the sole representative, because each business can only nominate one person. But generally what we have looked at is, we would look at applying for one applicant in the first instance as a sole representative. Once they enter the UK, they can set up a subsidiary. We can then apply for a sponsor license with that other subsidiary, and then we can do an application for the other partner to come in on the back of that particular application, which would be valid. Again, companies which have got a turnover, how does it kind of stack in with no turnover over a period of time? It has to be a genuine business which is trading. So those were kind of some of the pointers that we were kind of looking at. If you have any other questions, I see some raised hands. It would be great if you can pop your questions in the in the Q&A box, so we can kind of read through. I've got tons of other questions in the Q&A box, and I'm just conscious we're coming across to our time limit. So what we will be doing is we will be picking up these questions offline on a one-to-one basis with each one of you. I will still be online for some more time. If you want to drop in more questions into the Q&A box, I'm happy to collect them and come back to you on a one-to-one basis. And my team will be reaching out to each one of you in terms of the participants. We'll be sharing a copy of this presentation. Recording will be available as well, and that will allow you to kind of access and think of any other questions you've had in the interim. Just one last question I'm going to take in before I sign off. Can we work after going to the UK? I've got a question on that. So the dependents are allowed to work, and the dependents are allowed to start a business, but the main applicant is already going to the UK on the basis of being an employee of an overseas business. So the main applicant, unfortunately, cannot take up any additional jobs because they're committed to working with with the main applicant company, which is based overseas. So that's typically what kind of goes in. Right, I've got some specific questions about the eligibility criteria and stuff like that for the sole representative. the idea is that, a sole representative does not have to have a specific degree. So, some of our sole representative applicants have not completed their bachelor's degree even, and they've had, they've just got high school education, but they've got a lot of business experience, and that's been good enough, to kind of make an application. So you're not going to get judged by the degrees, either having too many of them or too few of them. A sole proprietorship can send an employee overseas, as long as that employee is not the sole proprietor himself or herself. So, we regularly represent businesses which are owned by the first generation, and they're a sole proprietorship, and they generally want their sons or daughters to expand the business in the UK. And we've done successful applications for them. So as long as the employee has no shares in the business, even a sole proprietorship can send a person to the UK. Right. Okay. So I think that's about enough time from our perspective. I've got a request to say, just take one more question on here, and I really will have to stop post that. So this is a question regarding the extension, and one of our guests want to know whether or not the overseas company will still needs to be trading in order to be eligible for an extension. So yes, the short answer is that because you are representing an overseas company, the company should be still trading in order to consent to an expansion. But it's not necessary that the turnover of the overseas entity should be more than the UK entity. The UK appreciates that if someone comes in as a sole representative, they can enter the UK and they can make a success of it. And over a period of 3 years, the UK turnover could exceed the parent company's turnover overseas, which is fine. It's not going to be a problem. So, you could definitely look at that as a valid option. So I think that's about the time that I have had. I've got tons of other questions, which I will revert to you. Just leaving some closing thoughts in terms of our locations. So we're present in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore. What you see on your screen is also an email address and a phone number. So if you have any queries or if you have any follow-ups on what you've heard so far today, feel free to drop in your messages in your emails. We'll look at your queries, and we'll do our best to respond to it. I think that's about the time that we've had. As I said, we will be taking up all of these questions offline as well. But thank you very much for your participation today. Thank you very much for your questions, for making it so interesting for us. And that's it from my side, and we will be in touch with you over the weekend. And hopefully I look forward to working with most of you or all of you to expand your businesses, whether it is to the UK or the US or Canada or wherever else in the world that we could help with. So thanks ever so much for that again. And that'll be it from our side. Stay safe and stay well. Bye-bye.